Today we're going to be looking at this custom 8-shelf Kallax, and I will show you all the steps you need to build this, as well as how I made it extra heavy duty to be able to hold a tube TV. So straight off the bat, I do want to mention that Ikea does make shelf inserts or shelf splitters, whatever you want to call them, but they only make them in white as of this time. So I didn't want a black and white setup. I didn't want an all white setup. If it doesn't bother you, you can go that route and save yourself a ton of headache. But I wanted all black, I wanted to match, so this is how I did it. And as you may have noticed, my main use for this is for storing game consoles, and I just thought the regular 4-square Kallax just wasted a lot of space. So to do this, we're going to need more of these short shelves. Now, Ikea does not sell these separately, so you could go the expensive route. Go to Ikea, buy a 2x4 Kallax. It'll cost you quite a bit, but you'll get the extra shelves you need. Or you could go the other route. Look on Facebook Marketplace or wherever. Look for used Kallax units. It may take more legwork and more time, but it'll be a lot cheaper that way. But for us to make our 8-shelf project, we're going to need 4 more of these. Alright, so this is how a Kallax unit comes straight from Ikea, and it comes with instructions, so I don't have to tell you how to build this. But while we're here, I want to mention a few things about how this is built. So first thing is, you have 2 long sides on the top and bottom and 2 short sides on the left and right. All of these outer parts are paper fill, so they're not great to drill in and they're not the strongest. And then we have 1 long shelf and 2 short shelves. These are made out of particle board, so they're a lot better for drilling in and they are pretty strong. So this is how Ikea shows you to build it, with the long parts on top and bottom and the long shelf going horizontally. And they have a rating capacity of 44 pounds and 1 ounce. But what we're gonna do is turn this on its side, just like that. So now we can easily add some more short shelves in here. And we also have this long shelf vertical now, which may add a little bit more strength to that top shelf, but again, I cannot really recommend pushing that 44-pound limit. And I also want to mention these pre-drilled holes. These are for cabinet doors that Ikea sells separately, and they will no longer be compatible when you flip your Kallax on its side. So next, you need to find the middle point between here, and I've already measured it for you. It's going to be 6 7/16 inches. And if you're metric, it's probably going to be something much simpler, but I got you covered. It's going to be 14 centimeters. And as you can see, I took my measurements and made marks on the front and back and right and left of each cubby. And I just took something straight and made a pencil mark. That way I knew where to drill for my pegs. And then I took off this side part to measure how far in the pre-drilled holes were. That way I knew how far in to put the new holes. And again, I've already done the measuring for you. It's going to be 7/8 of an inch in, or 2 centimeters. So I went through my drill bit set and found the bit that fit the existing pre-drilled hole perfectly, and that ended up being a 7/32 bit. And then I proceeded to drill the holes for the new shelves. And be very careful when you do this, because again, this is a paper fill part, so you're really only drilling through this top layer. There's not going to be any wood in the middle, and you don't want to pop through the other end. Then after drilling your new holes, you can start putting everything back together. And make sure that these middle pegs stick out on both sides, that way they can support both shelves. So here it is, and I think it looks really nice, you know, especially since the shelves all match. They're not just spray painted black, but they're actually that black wood grain color. So yeah, I like how it looks for game consoles, and you know, it just looks like it was designed for it now. In my opinion, a regular 4-square Kallax, it's just, there's a lot of air. There's a lot of wasted space in my opinion, and I like how this looks better. And then there's also airflow in the back for those extra toasty consoles. And I like that there's still enough space for you to load and unload cartridges in pretty much all of these consoles. The only one that's not great is the GameCube, because, you know, I can see the game in there, I could get my hands, but it's just not enough space to get that in and out. And especially if you put a Game Boy player on the bottom, there's just no clearance at all there. So that is why I have the GameCube on the bottom, so when I want to play, I could just pull it out like this, and then I'm good to go. So there's my upgraded Kallax shelf. I think it looks great, and if you're like me and you got a bunch of retro consoles in there, your next thought is probably, this would look great with a tube TV on top. And a Kallax shelf like this is the perfect size for a 27-inch tube TV to fit on top. But those usually weigh around 100 pounds. And again, this is only rated for 44 pounds. And I cannot recommend going over that weight limit. And if you're just watching this video for the shelf, I apologize. Old TVs look great with old consoles. That's pretty much all you need to know. Don't get me wrong, I do have a 27-inch CRT and I have put it on top of here and it did weigh 100 pounds and I was fine, But you know, you don't know if it's gonna hold for a day, for a week, if it's gonna give in eventually. And that just paints an ugly picture, you know. You're gonna be down a TV, there's gonna be glass all over the floor, you may have smashed consoles. I just cannot recommend that. So that left me thinking, how can I bulletproof this so it can hold a big heavy TV? So here's my solution. Basically, I just built a desk around the Kallax unit and I just made it as short as possible to try to make it look like it was all one thing. And I think it came out all right. So again, with expensive and cheap routes, I used a Karlby Countertop from Ikea that I already had and I cut it to size. And then I went crazy with these adjustable height Olov legs from Ikea. I ended up putting 8 on here, and that's just because I want to be able to put a huge tube TV on top. Alright, so it's been a while. I finally got this huge heavy TV up here. I've had it all set up for a few days, and you know, I got to use it a couple times and I've really enjoyed it. I think it all turned out really nice. I like how everything ended up looking, and I have not hooked up every single console just yet, and that's because I haven't figured out the cable management. If you leave it a mess back here and you have a light source behind the TV, all those wires show from the front and it doesn't look good, so I still need to figure that part out. And plus, you know, everybody likes how the Kallax shelves look. I know I do, so I was really happy that I was able to come up with a solution where I could still have a big heavy CRT TV on top and still keep the look of it all. And yeah, if you go to Ikea and buy every single part for this brand new, including, you know, an extra Karlby unit just to steal the shelves out of it, all that, this would cost a ton, but my recommendation is go out there, find the used stuff, find the frugal stuff. That's what I did. A few parts I already had, I kind of mixed and matched, bought a few things from Ikea and made it work. And so if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspired your creativity for your own gaming setups. And, you know, just thank you again for watching. Please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.